Hello, 7As, receiving students and teachers. Thank you. You may be seated. 7As and receiving students. In today's lesson, we are going to look at some of the things you have done in your previous lesson. Now, class, this is what I would like you to do. Firstly, I want you to work in your small groups to answer the questions which I am going to put up on the screen. There will be 2 exercises for you to do. Now, in your small groups, you are going to discuss the answer that you think the question is asking you to find. As soon as you find the answer, then we are going to go through that answer and then we'll move on to another answer again. We are going to do that for the first part of the lesson. So class, all sit up straight. Here is the first question on the screen. The first exercise says, name the triangle that has no equal sides. I would like you to discuss in your small groups, what do you think the name of the triangle that has no equal sides? You try to reflect back or think back to what you have done in your previous lesson on the types of triangles. If your group is finished, you raise your hand. Very good. Some groups are finished. Receiving students, you can tell your teacher, 7As, what do you think the name of the triangle is? Rachel. Sorry, Ruthie, what do you think? DRS, listen.
Scalene triangle.
Very good. Let's give her 2 big claps. Thank you, Ruthie. Okay, the name of the triangle which we were looking for is the what? Scalene triangle, and it is on the screen now. If you have chosen the wrong triangle, this is what the triangle should like. Let's look at the screen. A scalene triangle looks like that. Is that clear, 7As and receiving students? Okay, thank you. Now, let's move on to the next exercise. The next exercise on the screen says, name the triangle that has exactly 2 sides of equal length. What do you think the triangle is? Receiving students, you can tell your teacher, 7As, what do you think the name of that triangle is? If it says the triangle has exactly 2 sides of equal length. Remember, only 2 sides of equal length. Okay, Walter. Walter, what do you think?
Isosceles triangle.
Walter says isosceles triangle. 7As and receiving students. Do you think it's correct? Yes. Very good, Walter. So, that is a isosceles triangle. Let's give Walter 2 big claps. 7As and receiving students. Now, let's look at the picture of a isosceles triangle on the screen. Okay. Walter's answer was correct, and that's how a isosceles triangle should look like. Okay. Now, 7As and receiving students, those are some of the types of triangles which you have learned in your previous lesson. In today's lesson, we are going to learn about some other shapes again. Now we're going to look at the types of quadrilaterals. Have you heard about this word quadrilaterals? Yes, some of you are saying yes, some of you are saying no. So in today's lesson, we are going to learn about what are those types of quadrilaterals, or what is a quadrilateral. Now, a quadrilateral is a polygon with 4 sides or edges and 4 vertices or corners. Again, a quadrilateral is a polygon with 4 sides or edges, and also it has 4 vertices known as corners. That's the definition of the word quadrilateral. Okay. Now, to the receiving teacher, you can copy the definition down for your students. 70s and receiving students, while you are thinking of the definition, I would like you to tell me what are some examples of a quadrilateral that you can name, especially in this classroom, or receiving students in your classroom. Look around. What are some of the shapes that shows a shape of a quadrilateral? Using the objects in the classroom. You know that a quadrilateral is a polygon with 4 sides or vertices, and also it has sides or edges with 4 vertices or the corners. It has 4 sides and 4 corners. What shape do you think that you can see in this classroom? What shape in this classroom has 4 sides and 4 corners? Okay, let's hear from Emmanuel. Emmanuel is going to give us an example of a quadrilateral in this classroom. Receiving students, you can also name an example in your classroom as well.
Whiteboard.
Sorry?
Whiteboard.
Loud and clear?
Whiteboard.
Whiteboard. Can you show the class the shape that you are talking about, or the object that you are talking about? Show it. Come to the front. Okay, can you show the shape? Which? 70s and receiving students, do you think it's correct? Yes. Very good. Let's give him 2 big claps. Emmanuel, thank you. That's an example of a quadrilateral shape that he has shown us, and he gave us an example saying that the whiteboard. Yes. Sorry, Emmanuel, I'm going to ask you again. What is the name of this shape that you showed us?
Rectangle.
Rectangle shape. Can you see that? Yes. Okay, very good. The whiteboard gives a rectangle shape, and a rectangle shape is known as a quadrilateral because it has 4 sides and 4 corners. Can you see that? Very good. Now, any more examples of any quadrilateral in the classroom? Evelyn. Receiving students, you can give another example.
A table.
Receiving students, 70s. Evelyn has said the table that she is using. Evelyn, what shape does that table, the top part of the table shows you?
Rectangle.
Rectangle shape. Thank you. We've already had an example of a rectangle shape. Very good. Any more other shapes that you know of which are also quadrilaterals, apart from rectangle? Anjali? Sorry?
TV screen.
TV screen. Very good. The TV screen that you are watching now. Evelyn, sorry, Angeline, what shape does the TV screen show you and your friends?
Square.
Okay, very good. Some TV screens are square. If you have a square TV screen, you will see that all the sides are equal, or the corners. It has 4 corners, and also all the 4 sides are equal. And if you have a rectangle shaped TV screen, then that's 2 sides are equal, and the other 2 sides are also equal. Now, 70s and receiving students, I hope you have given some examples of quadrilaterals that you have found in your classroom, and also which are around you. Let's move on to understanding more about quadrilateral. On the screen, it says all quadrilaterals can be divided into 2 major groups, 2 big groups. Quadrilateral is a big name. We can divide those, we can separate different quadrilaterals. For example, it can be divided into two groups. The first group we can say parallelograms, and the second group is quadrilaterals again, other quadrilaterals. Now, in today's lesson, I am going to show you those two types of groups, which are all coming under quadrilaterals. Okay. On the screen, what are parallelograms? Most of us, we haven't known what those parallelograms are. So on the screen, the definition of the word parallelograms are, they are quadrilaterals with both pairs of opposite sides being parallel to each other. Okay? Those are known as parallelograms. Receiving teacher, you can copy that down for the receiving students. 70s and receiving students, I am going to show you the table of types of parallelograms that we are going to learn today. Now, the common parallelograms that I am going to show you are as on the table. These are the 4 common parallelograms that you should know. And they are, first, the parallelogram. It's the properties of that shape. It has opposite sides are equal in length and opposite angles are equal in size. That's for a parallelogram shape. Second one, the common one, is a rectangle. A rectangle shape, the properties of a rectangle shape are opposite sides are equal in length and all angles are the same and all equal to 90 degrees. Okay? Now, the second one, it's a rhombus. A rhombus, all sides are equal in length. Rhombus is just similar like a square. All sides are equal in length and opposite angles are equal in size. So we can say a rhombus is just a tilted shape of a square. Now the last one is the common one. It's a square. A square, we all know that all the sides are equal and the angles in a square, they all add up to each side of the angle of a square, they are all 90 degrees. It shows a right angle at the end of each angle. Now, 70s and receiving students, those are some of the parallelograms. Okay, to the receiving teacher, I will flash on the properties of the shapes again, and I would like you to check if you have copied down all the properties of the shapes, which are on the screen now. 70s, let's look at the screen once more again, and you check through and try to understand the 4 shapes well. First, you should have a parallelogram. Secondly, a rectangle and the shape of it. Third one is the rhombus, and the last one is a square. Okay, 70s and receiving students, let's look at other quadrilaterals. We said quadrilaterals are divided into 2 groups. The first group are the parallelograms, which I've shown you. There are 4 of them. And the second group are known as the other quadrilaterals. And let's look at the other quadrilaterals now. Okay, on the screen, the other quadrilaterals which I have on the screen, there are 3 of them. The first one is a trapezium, and a trapezium, the shape shows you there that one pair of the opposite side is parallel. The two arrows pointing towards your right hand side is known as the parallel side of the shape, and it's known as a trapezium. Okay? The second shape, it's a kite, a shape of a kite. And the property of a kite is known as two pairs of adjacent next to each other. Two pairs of adjacent. Adjacent simply means they are next to each other and the sides are equal in length. As you can see, the sides of the kite, the head of the kite has the two sides equal, while the tail of the kite has two sides equal as well. Okay, the last one is known as a irregular quadrilateral. Any sort of four-sided shape which doesn't look like a rectangle or a square or either a kite or trapezium, it's known as an irregular quadrilateral. And that shape does not have any special properties, like it doesn't have sides equal or either angles equal as well. Now, 70s and receiving students, what we are going to do now is we are going to try to see some of the shape that we have gone through and understand what each of the quadrilaterals simply stands for on each of the given shapes. 70s, on the screen, the exercise says, name this quadrilateral and give reason for your answer. You look at the shape. What is the name of the shape? If you are thinking of a shape, you have to give a reason, like what Emmanuel explained. That's a simple shape. Seventies and receiving students, are you ready to give the name of the shape? Remember, it's a quadrilateral shape. It has four sides. It has also angles. So what shape, name of the shape is that? Is it a kite? Is it a trapezium? Is it a rectangle? Is it a rhombus? Okay, let's go through the answer together. 70s and receiving students, what do you think that shape is? Winnie.
A square.
Winnie, why do you say it's a square?
Because it has four sides.
Four sides? Only four sides?
Yeah.
Only four sides? Are you sure? Okay. Yes, thank you, Winnie. Winnie says it has only four sides. What are the other things that you can say about the shape? Yes, Evelyn.
It has four sides and four equals angle.
Okay, four equal angles, yes. Now, 7 is a square. When you look at the square, it has a sign at the corners, the angle sign there. What do you think that angle sign is? Jubilee, what do you say?
Equal to each other.
They're equal to each other. And what is the angle showing you? What is the name of that angle showing you?
90 degrees.
Name of the angle?
Square.
No, angle. The shape is a square, but the angle.
Right angle.
Right angle sign showing you. And right angle sign at the corner of the square is known as how many degrees? 90 degrees. So we can say a square has four sides, 4 corners and it has 4 angles which are all 90 degrees. They are all equal, 90 degrees. Is that clear now? Okay. Now, 7 is on the screen. The answer which we just gave should read like the given quadrilateral is a square since all sides are equal and all angles are 90 degrees. Is that clear? Okay, very good. Now, 7 is and receiving students, we are going to try out some more shapes that we have gone through, and I would like you to think of the name of that quadrilateral shape, like which we have done now. So the exercise will be 2. I will show you on the screen on the 2 different quadrilaterals. In your small groups, I would like you to name those 2 different quadrilaterals. To the receiving teacher, please, you can assist the students by identifying the name of the 2 shapes and also the properties of those 2 quadrilateral shapes. 7 is and receiving students, our exercise is on the screen now. The first one is name this quadrilateral shape and give reason for your answer, like what we have done to the square, the quadrilateral shape square. Let's look at this shape. What shape do you think this is? Is it a rhombus? Is it a kite? Is it a rectangle? You think. As soon as you come up with your answer, you give your reason. Why do you say this shape is a rhombus or a rectangle? With that, you can start now. 70s and receiving students, let's go through the two answers. The first one, name this quadrilateral and give your reason for your answer. The first shape, 70s and receiving students, what do you think the shape is? And why do you think that shape is the name that you are given? So receiving students, you explain to your teacher, or you give your answer and you explain the reason why you think that is the shape. And also 70s, you'll be doing the same. So let's correct the first one. Exercise B there. 70s, who would like to give the answer for the first exercise? Who has got the answer? Ruthie, would you like to give the answer for the first exercise? What is the name of this quadrilateral shape?
Trapezium.
Louder, please.
Trapezium.
Trapezium. Ruthie, why do you think it is a trapezium?
Because it's a right angle and there's only two equal sides.
Okay, good. 70s and receiving students, Ruthie is saying it has only a right angle side given there, and also it has two sides equal. Are the two sides equal? Yes or no? No, the two sides are not equal. What can we say? We said that the arrows pointing to your right are known as what lines? Huh? They are known as parallel lines. So we can say, Ruthie, you are correct. The name is trapezium, and it has an angle shown there. And also, there are two parallel lines shown also on the shape. So, 70s, on the screen, I have the answer for you again. What you should have said was, it is a trapezium because one pair of the opposite sides is parallel. Again, it is known as a trapezium because one pair of the opposite sides is parallel. Okay? Is that clear? The two arrows running across, those are the opposite sides of the shape, and they are parallel. Okay? Meaning that they don't meet but they run. The side shapes just run side by side. Okay? Now, second one. What shape is that? Donald? What do you think the shape is?
Kite,
Kite. Donald, why do you say it's a kite?
because the two pairs adjacent next to each other. Sides are equal in length, one pair of opposite angle.
Can you speak out louder, please? The others listen. He's giving his reason why he's saying a kite.
Two pairs adjacent, they are next to each other. Sides are equal in length, one pair of opposite angle.
Okay, very good. Now, like what Donald has said on the screen, the answer we should have is a kite. The shape is a kite. And why it is a kite is because two pairs of the sides are adjacent, meaning that they're next to each other and are equal in length, and one pair of opposite side, the one pair of opposite angles are between the sides of unequal length. Okay? Again, the properties of the kite are two pairs of adjacent, meaning next to each other on the sides and are equal in length, and one pair of opposite angles, the ones that are between the sides of unequal length, are equal. Is that clear, 7Es and receiving students? Okay. With that, 7Es and receiving students, let's look at what we have learned so far. On the screen, our lesson summary reads, a quadrilateral is a polygon with 4 sides or edges and 4 vertices or corners. Any quadrilateral shape, it has 4 sides and 4 corners. Okay? All quadrilaterals can be divided into 2 major groups. What is the first group, 7Es? Parallelograms. And how many shapes that we have learned so far in parallelograms? 3 or 4 shapes? 4 shapes. Okay? 4 shapes. One is a parallelogram. The other one is a square, a rectangle, and a rhombus. Okay? Those are the 4 parallelograms. And the other quadrilaterals were how many? 3. One was a trapezium, kite, and irregular quadrilateral. Okay, very good. Now, what did we say parallelograms were? Parallelograms are quadrilaterals with both pairs of opposite sides being parallel to each other. Okay? Those are known as parallelograms. Our key words for today's lesson are as follows. 1, a quadrilateral, parallelograms, and polygons. Okay? 7Es and receiving students, we have come to the end of our lesson. In our next lesson, we are going to look at angle sum of a quadrilateral. Class, thank you for your participation in today's lesson.